Hi everyone. I really wish I wasn't having to make this video. This video sucks. This is the video where I tell y'all that I have had a total, utter, complete failure relapse in my picking. I went full on ripping my skin apart last night. So I'm trying to process this and not be completely infuriated with myself, which I am, but I'm trying really hard not to be. And I actually just had to record this video 3 or 4 different times because my iPad's being very strange, and I'm very hungover. So today is not a great day. So I wanted to just give a little bit of context and talk about what happened. Like I said, last video, finals are coming up, right? We have a week left basically until the end. And we're on the cusp of a 5-week break, which is the only real break we've had because every other time we've had a week in between quarters. And I think all of me and my classmates are just dying for this break right now. Not all of us, get to vacation or take time off or doing that. A lot of people work full time and they just have to continue on with their lives. But it's going to be a break from school and a break from practicums. So everyone wants this. And we still have stuff going on, we have to finish strong and turn in stuff. And I know that this isn't the right attitude to have, but we all really need this. And I'm going to take a couple vacations and reassess some things and think about where I'm headed. So, context. So, I was at a party for Proposition 1, and I feel like some people that watch this video are not going to have any idea what that means. It's a proposition on the ballot for Seattle. It's a tax to create lots of funds for equity and access to arts, science, and heritage organizations. So, lots of low-income families, low-income kids, lots of money going into arts organizations to do education and equity work. And I say that to say this, that is the sector that I'm heading into. That is literally what I'm paying lots and lots of money to go to grad school. And I know that this could have transformed completely how arts nonprofits work in Seattle. We would have had a lot more funding. It would have been a lot more stable. I would, me and all my classmates have worked very hard who make much less money than what we normally would make in a for-profit, can maybe finally make a little bit more of a living wage here in Seattle. And then it would just impact thousands and thousands and thousands of people, kids and families and elder people. And it's bigger than just art, science, and heritage. I think it would have a really big impact on this whole atmosphere in Seattle. And so we were there at the party. It didn't pass. Well, nothing is certified yet. Nothing is final. But when you have a spread like last night, 55-45, chances are it's not going to pass. So I was at that party, and this is something that's very dear to me, so that was a big blow. And then several of us just decided to get drunk because I don't know, what else do you do in that situation? So we all started drinking at the party, and then quickly decided to go out after everything shut down and stay at a bar and kept drinking. And I was very drunk, and I had sort of seen this coming in the way that I was talking about my last video, my scalp has been the crux of all of this. So I would, scratch my head because it was itchy, and then I would feel something, and then I would make a second pass at it to be oh, it's just another scratch. But really, I was hoping to get something out of it, and I would do that second scratch, and I would literally look underneath my fingernails for anything that I might have picked up. And so I was sort of lying to myself that wasn't a really awful behavior. And so I started doing that last night early on, and then I'd say once the drink started flowing, it devolved into, I am no longer just scratching my head. I'm literally sitting in a bar picking my scalp. Like, I am digging around in my scalp. And then I proceeded to come home at 1:45 or whatever time it was, and literally stay up for almost another 2 hours, drunk in my bathroom, ripping my skin apart. Like, you know, I've certainly experienced that lots of times, right? I will go through something very stressful, and then I will have a very long trance-like session of just picking in the bathroom, just like everything, right? Whatever's there. So I was just full on picking my scalp, 2 hands picking my scalp, like just aggressive. And then I was just like, well, I've already failed, so if I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fucking fail, like 100%. And so I just started picking my back. I started scratching around. I had all kind. My arms look so horrible, and that's zit cream to try to do some damage control. I had lots of places where I had zits that were underneath the skin, clogged pores, you know, from sunscreen and stuff, and I just popped all those. And obviously you can see that my arm looks like shit. I, you know, started digging around on my back. I know that there was some big blackheads on my face, and I was just like, no, I'm not. I can do whatever I want tonight, but I'm not going to touch my face. You know, I'm just like, that's off limits. It looks great, and this is like the biggest, you know, I mean, this is the thing that I see all the time, so this is how I will measure my successes and failures. And then, you know, lo and behold, I just went to town. So anyway, and you know, it's scary because I was very sad and I was angry, but I didn't cry. I wasn't that surprised. It felt so familiar. It felt so safe. It felt so gratifying. That's the thing, is like, at this point, I thought, if I relapse and I do this, it's gonna feel so dirty and so awful, and I'm just gonna cry, and it's just gonna be this thing. But when I was doing it, it still felt so gratifying. It was so satisfying to me. It was just like, yes, I'm getting to do this thing that I haven't done in almost 3 weeks. I'm getting all of these things out of my skin, and like, it was satisfying. So, and I hate to say it, but like, I didn't even go. I have a counseling appointment today, and I didn't go. I just like didn't go. I didn't even call them because I was like, I just feel too bad about canceling last minute. I don't know what my counselor is going to have to say about this. I don't know if she's going to be surprised, or maybe she knows that if I didn't, it's the first time I've not shown up to an appointment. Maybe she knows something is up. I just can't face it right now. Also, I'm terribly hungover, so I just feel shitty. And pretty much just holed up in my house in a wallowing in my pity and feeling bad for myself and feeling physically ill. I don't know, I really wish that this could have been a different video, right? Because I was like, I'm gonna do a video for 3 weeks. I'm gonna do one a week for every week for a month, and then from there it could maybe be a little bit more sparse, but you know, I don't know. You know, and this is super shameful also, I have to say. I mean, I failed miserably last night. I failed 100%. I went out in a burst of flames and glory. I even puffed on a cigarette last night. I didn't inhale it, but I did take a hit off of a cigarette while I was very drunk at the bar, and just like let it sit in my mouth and then blew it out. And then I'm just like, what the fuck is going on with you? Like, what is happening? So obviously, I think that it's very apparent that I have not been coping my stress as successfully as I thought, obviously. I think I thought, well, things aren't bubbling up to the surface. I'm doing a good job at not picking. I'm doing an okay job at managing everything, that I thought I'm doing okay. But you should never, ever, ever underestimate the power of your subconscious and the feelings that live deeper. Because when you are vulnerable and when you let down your inhibitions, or with alcohol or whatever, you let your guard down, that shit will attack you at that time. Like, it'll get you in those moments. And so I haven't picked today. I've been on and off napping and eating food to try to feel better, but I haven't picked today. I guess you just proceed in the way that people proceed. You just try again. I had to reset the sobriety clock on my phone, and damn, that was just like a super low moment. Being like, well, I have to start over now. 20 days down the fucking toilet. I don't know if this means like I need to do better at my self-care generally, so that I don't have this stress bubbling underneath the surface and then it will get me whenever I'm vulnerable. Or I have to talk about it more, or I maybe shouldn't drink alcohol in excess at all during this period, because I feel like it might have been an excuse, right? To say like, I'm letting myself do this because I am inebriated. Or it might have just been like, I am too vulnerable in those places where I just don't give a fuck about anything. And that's a time when I can pick, when I am most susceptible to do that. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video now, but I'm very sad, I'm disappointed. I don't really know what the best way to proceed is, other than just like try really hard again. I don't know about what this says about my long-term success. I want to say that it is not reflective of my long-term success, but to get to 3 weeks, I feel like, because when I was smoking cigarettes, and I feel like after 3 weeks I was really confident that it was done. And I don't think last night taking a hit of a cigarette was like, it doesn't indicate that I'm ever going to smoke again. It was actually gross and I didn't like it. But I was drunk. So, but I don't know what this says about future success or failure or whatever. And I don't know how to change my behavior so that it doesn't happen in the future. Yeah, just better coping mechanisms all the time. Being more honest with myself. Doing whatever, going above and beyond to put those safety nets in place so that this just doesn't happen to me again whenever I'm vulnerable. So that's the video I'm making. I'm stressed out. Finals almost over. I'm almost on my break. I relapsed completely and utterly. And I'm gonna try to get back on track.